In 1994, a surprising archaeological site which shook the academic world was excavated in Şanlıurfa, located in southeastern Turkey. This was the discovery of Göbekli Tepe, an ancient temple believed to have been built approximately 12,000 years ago. This predated the Sumerian civilization, often called the cradle of human civilization, by 5,000 years, and was 7,000 years older than Stonehenge, known as the oldest structure on Earth. Göbekli Tepe was a tremendous discovery, capable of entirely uprooting the foundation of history that the academic community had established until then. However, due to a site accidentally discovered in 2008, a shocking possibility was raised that Göbekli Tepe might not be the oldest. Those exploring near the Ilisu Dam in the Darhacit area of Turkey discovered an ancient-looking archaeological site. This region, along the upper reaches of the Tigris River, was a place that historically served as a base for peoples like the Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, Hittites, Assyrians, and Romans. The site contained regularly stacked rocks and large pillar-shaped stones, and its total estimated size was 2.5 hectares. Scholars believe that since various civilizations and societies had existed at this site, it must be the remains of a large community. Beginning with the Mardin Museum team, which started the first investigation in 2012, research teams and archaeologists from around the world began excavating the site. In 2017, as extensive excavation progressed, a research team led by Dr. Ergül Kodaş from Mardin Artuklu University announced surprising findings under the site name Boncuklu Tarla. Namely, that this ancient site in southeastern Turkey represented the dawn of human civilization, predating Göbekli Tepe by at least 1,000 years. Dr. Kodaş stated that the most recent buildings constructed here date back 10,000 years, while the oldest ones appear to be around 13,000 years old. The mainstream academic world was in shock, as prior to Boncuklu Tarla, they had estimated that the first period of human collective formation would be around the time of Göbekli Tepe's discovery. The oldest architectural remains at Boncuklu Tarla dated back at least 1,000 years further than that, perhaps even more. Academia defines the criteria for humans settling in one place and engaging in social activities by the emergence of agriculture, architecture, and religion. Yet, surprisingly, all of these elements were discovered at Boncuklu Tarla. Dr. Kodaş explained that the spaces at Boncuklu Tarla primarily served three purposes: areas similar to residential homes where people lived, storage facilities for goods and food, and a large communal area of unknown function. Dr. Kodaş stated that he could not ascertain the existence or purpose of this particular space, calling it the biggest mystery of Boncuklu Tarla. Dr. Kodaş added that this area was used neither as a residence nor as a storage facility. The communal area was estimated to have been a massive building, approximately 7 meters in height. What was unique was that this space was centrally located within the residential area, positioned where houses gathered and faced it. Furthermore, while most residential sites had a circular shape, the communal area was rectangular with pillars placed near each corner. Typically, prehistoric sites featuring pillars before the advent of writing often symbolized temples. Oddly, on the other hand, the communal area at Boncuklu Tarla seemed far from being a temple. This was because there were absolutely no symbols or traces of any object of worship found there. Another thing that drew attention was that this site was not solely composed of buildings constructed in a single century. Specifically, buildings with similar sizes and features were constructed layered on top of each other over hundreds or thousands of years. It was estimated that there were up to 3 layers of overlaid building structures. Some scholars suggested that this unique characteristic might be linked to the inherent significance of this space. The idea was that a communal space was created by the foundational civilization, and it was maintained and preserved across generations and subsequent cultures over time, so its meaning and form would not be altered. What was even more surprising was that the age of the very first building constructed, before being overlaid, dated back to before 10,000 BCE. Regarding this unprecedented discovery, some even proposed the hypothesis that this space could have been used by people from entirely different civilizations for a single purpose. The idea was that it might have been a place where something specific was commonly worshipped. The narrative was that because Boncuklu Tarla's communal area was the point where one could encounter that something or perform rituals, it was inherited and protected over thousands of years. They also added that some kind of taboo or restriction might have existed here. If this hypothesis is true, What was the identity of the entity that they had been worshipping for thousands of years, starting over 10,000 years ago? Another thing that drew the attention of scholars were over 20,000 beads found at Boncuklu Tarla. The name Boncuklu Tarla itself means field of beads in the local language. Local residents living nearby have also said that after it rained, if they checked the area, sparkling beads would always be scattered and rolling on the ground. This phenomenon was repeated every time there was a heavy rainfall, and as a result, the area was sometimes called the Field of Beads. What was most frequently found here were bead ornaments crafted from smooth stones like malachite and obsidian. There were forms crudely cut and strung together, but there were also items that had been processed and made into shapes like earrings. Many of the ornaments were modeled after animal shapes such as scorpions, snakes, birds, feathers, or hunting horns. It's astonishing that ancient people from 13,000 years ago went through a process of civilization and even created various ornaments. But what's even more surprising was the craftsmanship of stone carving. Obsidian is a challenging raw material as it is hard but brittle. Processing it requires quite complex procedures even with modern technology. Experts in the academic community said it's difficult even to infer what kind of technology was used to carve such a uniquely featured stone during what was presumed to be the Neolithic period. Tools presumed to have been used to create these crafted items were not found anywhere, and how the hard and smooth raw stone was shaped into beads could ultimately not be determined. Near the area where the beads were found, human remains were also discovered. What was peculiar was that it looked like someone had buried them all together in one place. For this reason, the academic community has suggested that the communal area at Boncuklu Tarla might have been a necropolis. Could this have also been humanity's first communal cemetery? Excavation and research at Boncuklu Tarla are ongoing, even to this day. Whenever ancient civilization sites like Göbekli Tepe and Boncuklu Tarla are discovered, the history of humanity tends to undergo significant turmoil. Perhaps the Neolithic, Paleolithic as we know them, along with the development of civilization and the history of religion, were occurring much earlier than we thought. Indeed, where exactly is the starting point of human history as we knew it? And now, as ancient ruins once dismissed as myth are being discovered one after another, can we truly be certain that hyper-ancient civilizations, stretching much further than those, did not exist? This has been the Repository of Wonders.